Johnny Dollar.
Dollar, this is Michael J. Kendry at the San Francisco office of International Life and Casualty.
Mr. Kendry?
No, I'm not in my office. I'm over at Lake Tahoe. You know the place?
South of Reno, kind of half in California, half in Nevada.
That's right. I'm staying at a motel called Seven Pines Lodge at the south end of the lake. On the map, the town's called Al Tahoe.
Seven Pines Lodge in El Tahoe. Yeah, got it. Oh, and I understand there's some pretty great fishing in that lake. So, Kendry, I'll grab the first plane I can.
Fishing, huh?
What?
Maybe that's what you'll end up doing, all right.
Great.
For the body of a man named Marvin W. Smedley.
Huh?
CBS Radio brings you Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.